Welcome to the Morale Booster Network, a platform for entrepreneurs, career professionals, leaders, and the general public to give back to the society through coaching and mentoring. I remain your host, Dr. John Ugulu. I am an author, speaker, and strategist. I always say experience is the best teacher. You can stream or download this podcast from YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Google Podcast, Player FM, and Pandora. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Morale Booster Podcast. I am Dr. John Ugulu, your host. In this season of From Idea to Impact, we will be looking at navigating the journey of an author. We will dive deep into the creative process, the challenges, and the triumphs that come with bringing a book to life. In this episode, we are thrilled to welcome our guest author, Consuela Nicole. She is the author of No More Limits. Yes, No More Limits. Let's embark on this inspiring journey together. If you are just joining us for the very first time, please like and share this podcast because you might just be saving the life of that one person who has been waiting for a lifetime to hear this message. Once again, our guest is Consuela Nicole. She is a figure of inspiration and transformation, embodying the essence of empowerment through her unique approach to personal development. Her mantra, no more limit, serves as a guiding principle for individuals eager to break free from the constraints that hold them back, whether those are mental, emotional, or environmental. By focusing on the balance between purpose and preference, Consuela Nicole highlights the importance of aligning one's actions with their true desires and goals, ensuring that every step taken is a step toward fulfillment and self realization. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I welcome Consuela Nicole. Consuela, thank you so much for joining me on this program.
Thank you. You are very welcome, Dr. John. Thank you very much for having me today.
The pleasure is all mine. And I know you are 3 hours behind us in time
Yes,
zone. Yes, how is
yes.
California?
It is still
California.
somewhat early here in California. It is a beautiful fall day. I am not going to complain. It's California, the weather is beautiful. The sun is shining and I don't need a jacket right now. So I'm good.
Yes, and that's indeed a blessing, you know.
Yes.
It is a blessing. And yes, to God be all the glory. I am in Georgia. It's pretty
Amen.
warm. Yes, it's pretty warm here in Georgia. Beautiful weather. Um, I will be after the podcast. I will be heading out to play golf.
Oh,
That's
nice. Okay.
yes, yes. So thank you so much for joining me on this platform. The Morale Booster platform is a platform we utilize for coaching and mentoring.
Absolutely.
And today we will be looking at your journey as an author. All right.
Yeah.
So, how many books in total have you published till date?
So technically, it's a total of six. So it's one book and workbook and five journals.
Okay.
And it's all about removing the mask and chains of limitations.
Right. I love that. Because limiting beliefs are real. You
Yes, very
know,
much
people
so.
go through limiting beliefs every day of their lives, and it's part of
Hmm.
our process. So when we have people like yourself who are willing to guide us, to coach us, to help us go past those barriers, then
Mm-hmm.
the world becomes a better place. So I'll say thank you for your
Agree.
service. Thank you for what you do.
Absolutely. You are very
Great.
welcome. So let me explain it to you just a little bit, right?
Mm,
My take on limited beliefs. And what that is, and you're right, from the time we're born, we are handed with and coupled with, the things that we have to do and should do, right? Where I come in is that I assist teen girls to the well seasoned woman with the tools to remove the mask and the chains of limitations for three reasons. One, the limitations they've set upon themselves. Two, the limitations that was set upon them by society. And my favorite, number three, the limitations that was set upon them, passed down from generation to generation. And I teach them and show them, that they are able to control their own narrative and to live life on their own terms, flaws and all.
wow. Thank you so much. That's very, very interesting. So you work only with teen girls, right?
Teen girls to well seasoned women. So
Oh, okay.
my specialty is, like I said, teen girls starting like at age 16 up to
Hmm.
the well seasoned woman. So she can be a homemaker, a widow, an empty nester. And that is where I come in. But of course, I do have men that come to me saying they need the same type of help. However, I have men in my network that do the same type of work. So I then connect my male clients to those men coaches and authors because there's something, I really feel that there are certain things in life that it's easier for a man to accept from a man and for a woman to accept from a woman. Now there are some things that you can get from everybody, but there are some life things that happen that a woman cannot teach a man or show a man how to pull the layers back, and a man cannot show a woman how to pull the layers back. And being in regards to confidence and some emotional constraints, that's where I come in because we are definitely breaking generational curses, and we're breaking those society standards of having limits. We don't want no more limits. We're done with them.
No more limits.
Yes.
Yes. To everyone listening to us right now, I want you to leave what you're doing for a second and repeat this after me. Say, no more limits.
No more limits. That's what it's all about.
Yes, 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 yes. And thank you for all you do once again. And now, this program, we want to try to help aspiring authors
Hmm.
go through or rise above those limiting beliefs.
Correct.
And that's why I want us to talk more about your book. First of all, where can our listeners get your book to buy? Where can they buy your
Right.
books from?
So, of course, and that's this book here, right? The first place you can get it is definitely on my website of consuelanicole.com. And it's called No More Limits, a 30-day reality check to removing the mask and chains. And of course, you can also find it on Amazon.com under No More Limits. Um, my book can be used for a variety of different areas in your life, and becoming an author is one of them, right? Because we are, society say that you should write a book based on, this particular box or this particular thing, and that's not necessarily the case. um, Especially for my book. My book is a stepping stone of many for many people, and it started with my own testimony.
Hmm. Testimony, yes, and that's
Hmm.
that's the main thing, because there's always somebody out there who can
Yes,
heal from our testimony, who can be inspired based off
yes,
of our testimonies. And yes, I am glad you are using your story to impact lives positively. Once again, thank
absolutely,
you
absolutely.
for all you do. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can get a copy of that book titled No More Limits from our website. www.consuelanicole.com. Contact
Correct.
information is right there for you all. You can also get it on Amazon. Go get a copy now. And remember to follow her on social media. So I
Absolutely.
want to ask you a question. And my question is, what inspired you to start writing? And was there a particular moment or experience that set you on this path?
It is, and that's actually a two-part question for me, right? First, in regards to what empowered me to start writing, life. I grew up in a generation of what happens in my house, stay in my house, right? So I began to journal at a young age. I write about everything. I have books and boxes of journals that is in my own handwriting. Um, as time went on, um, matter of fact, and jumping to 2028, or excuse me, 2008, um, I was talking to a good friend of mine by the name of Jessica Rowe, who is also an author. And we was talking about journals and writing. And she said, "So when you gonna turn those journals into a book?" I was like, "I'm not." She said, "You should, because your story and what you've been through could truly be the answers to someone else's prayer." Hold on, wait a minute. Don't what are you talking about? Right. And that was a hard pill for me to swallow. Now, trust me, I know about prayer. I have my own relationship with God, and I do all of that. But I never looked at the fact that my testimony and my journey, could be the answer to someone else's prayer and what they were going through. So after that conversation with her, I went back and pulled out just some of the journals I had written. Um, and I took pieces from each one and started the book you see before you today, No More Limits, the 30-day journey to removing the mask and chains of limitations. It was not easy. It was, even though it was already written, in my journal, it wasn't easy because it became emotional for me because I started reliving some of the things that I had written about that I had already healed from. So it was definitely an emotional tears of joy, but it was emotional nonetheless.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. And your story resonates with me because in most cases, most authors I have had a conversation with, including
Hmm.
my own self, we never expected that we could become authors. Like it wasn't
Mm-mm.
part of the the plan
I told
or
you it wasn't. No, not at all.
Hmm. And
Not
there's
at
so
all.
many people. There's so many. The reason why I am bringing this up is because there are so many people who are listening to us right now who, in
Hmm.
their wildest imagination, never, they still have not seen the possibility of them using their story, life
Correct.
story, through a book to impact lives. Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's
So
where podcasts like yours come into play.
exactly. That's why we're using it to do the right things so that people
Yes.
can get activated. The
Correct.
goal is to activate people, to help them see the greatness within them, to help them
Correct.
see the importance of publishing a book as a legacy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I agree.
Yes.
I
So
agree.
thank you so much for sharing that. Um, can you share some of the biggest challenges? I know we all go through different types of challenges. Um,
Ooh.
what were your major challenges while writing your books?
For me, well, the first challenge was actually identifying my target audience, right? And it was like, well, who do I really who really needs this book, right? Who need to know the steps that I've taken that they may need to take for themselves? That was issue number one, or the complication number one. Um, and then complication number two was actually designing the cover. And I started doing it backwards per se, right? I was trying to design the cover before I knew who my target audience was. And you can't do that, right? Because if I don't know who my target audience is, how do I know what the cover is supposed to look like? And once I paused for a minute and figured out who my target audience was and who I was looking to put this book in the hands of, then it was easier for me to come back and do my cover and figure out what the title of the book was. For me, that was my hardest part because writing it was already done because that was my passion.
Right. Thank you for sharing, and that's a great one too.
Hmm.
Now I have had a conversation with several authors. Now your own story is unique because you already had all the materials available,
Uh-huh.
so you had a different challenge from
Yes.
the others I have interviewed. So basically, the reason why I'm asking is because aspiring authors might
Hmm.
think that the challenges are only exclusive to them.
No.
But from your own story now, it means everybody goes through challenges while writing. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. And everybody's challenge can be, a little different. And I know speaking with other authors and listening to some of the conversations you've had, there are some authors that say they struggle with the writing. And when I talk to inspiring authors and people of the same, my first statement to them is write what you know, write your testimony, right? In the beginning, don't worry about, the punctuations and the grammar, and that it's in the right context. Just pick up pen and paper, not the new stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the digital, right? But when it comes to writing a book, you need to actually pick up old school pen and paper and just let your mind go, right? Just let the words flow out of your head and on paper and just let it write. Once you get to a point where you can't write anymore, then you stop and go back and edit and do all the things and then even type it up. People have asked me, why do you say write it out versus typing it up? It's because a lot of people write faster than they type, right? So you're able to write as fast as you're thinking versus you're not able to type as fast as you're thinking. And I don't want you to lose anything. So if the writing aspect is the toughest part for you, write your story, right? And just let the words flow.
I like that. And sometimes they think what they can write
Hmm.
will not work or will
Correct.
not suffice to bring a book to
Hmm.
life, which in most cases it's true. So, how can aspiring authors go past that stage of just writing what they know and eventually what they know might not even go, quarter of a page? So, how can they overcome such
It
challenges?
goes back to one of the statements that Jessica shared with me about, my testimony being the answer to somebody's prayer. With us being in this whole cancel culture type of society right now and being judged, the same thing that you would be judged for is the same thing that somebody need to hear about, right? And the only reason you're being judged is because people don't understand it. We tend to judge and shy away from the things we don't understand or the things that we don't want to accept. And those are the things that we need to hear about most. So, if those are the answers that you have, if that is the experience that you have, put the words on paper. You may be in a room of 50 people and one person buy your book, you've touched that one person you were supposed to touch, and you never know what doors that one person is about to open for you.
I concur.
Mhm.
That's I am a living witness, test, living
Yes.
proof of that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I always remind them that when you write, write what you feel or think you can write. There are people who
Yes.
can help you expand on that
Absolutely.
little note you put together. Yes, so thank
Correct.
you so much for sharing that. All right, so
You're
let's
welcome.
go to my next question.
Okay.
Um, life is a journey, right?
Mhm.
And same thing applies to writing, publishing a book.
Yeah.
How has your writing process evolved over time? What have you learned about yourself as a writer along the way?
My writing style differs from my speaking style. I would definitely tell you that. Speaking, I peel back the layers and I don't add the fluff, right? I'm coming straight for you. In my writing style, I kind of kept it compact, but now the more I write, the more I can now my writing style kind of mimics my speaking style because it does you have to still be able to tell a story, right? You can't go from the beginning to the end without the meat and potatoes in the middle, right? Um but I also realize the more I write, because I am working on a new book now, that my words are emotional, right? And my words tend to get to the core of a situation. I don't believe in just, scratching the surface. We're ripping off the entire band aid and we get into the source of the problem.
Yes, yes. So
Hmm.
definitely, I was listening to um, John Maxwell some time ago,
Okay.
and he said, he has published several books,
Hmm.
and he said every book he publishes, every new book he publishes, he notices that the most recent one is always better than the previous one.
The past.
So
It is.
yes, so if someone like John Maxwell could say such a thing, then I don't see any reason why that person who is listening to us right now will not get started.
Absolutely. And I just start, if you need some help, reach out to somebody, right? Reach out to Dr. John. He may have some people in his network that can, help clarify your words. Send me a message. I may be able to help or I may have people in my network. Just start. The sooner you start, technically,
The
yes,
better it
the
will be.
easier it gets. It does get
Yes,
a little easier because the words flow. And then you'll be able to figure out what your next step was going to be.
that's true.
Hmm.
That resonates with me. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're
So let
welcome.
me ask you, what role do you think community or feedback from both readers and other writers has played in your development as an author?
Ooh. You know what? The community feedback is it was crucial for me. Um, because my book is definitely to help the community and to break, generational curses and generational fixed mindsets. And because it's all about no more limits, right? We get a lot of our limits from the community. So all of my feedback, I will be honest, was not good feedback, right? And when I go back and ask some of these different people in some of these different organizations, why did you feel it wasn't, why did you give the feedback that you gave? And a lot of it came back with those are topics we don't talk about, right? That's not what we do in our family, or that's not how I grew up, in different things of that nature. And I use it as research for what comes next for me, right? And I use it as a gateway to open the door to that community, or what is it that my community need. And that's how I took it, the positive and the not so positive, because if everything is always good, what work is there for you to do?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
My mom would say, if everything goes smoothly for you in life, from when you were born to you become an adult, no challenges, she said that's a sign that such a person might not live long.
Correct. You're not learning nothing. You're not experiencing nothing.
Yeah,
Where is your elevation, right?
right.
Everything is a little bit different, and that's the part I enjoy, because as an author, right? And I hope that every author out there listening to us today, every author is solving a problem. They have the answer, they have the solution to a situation. Um, but if you don't open your mouth, if you don't put the words to the paper, we still don't know what that solution is, right? We don't know how to fix it. So we need you. There may be a new author listening right now that has the answer to something I'm working on, and I'm waiting on you to put it out there. So,
Yes. Yes, I agree with you on that. And
yes,
that that's always the case. That has always been the case,
right, right.
Stories or yeah, stories that you do not think will touch or impact someone might be
Mm-hmm.
that life changing story. So
Correct.
yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, let's
Sure.
go to typically what I do is um we have gotten to that stage where I would want you to give some advice to
Mm-hmm.
our listeners, and it's going to be for 1 minute. And that advice will be to that man or that woman or that
Mm-hmm.
teenager who is currently confused about certain limiting beliefs. They want to
Mm-hmm.
accomplish something in life, but they
Mm-hmm.
feel they are not good enough. They feel they're not qualified.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your advice for that person? I'll give you 1 minute to just talk to them.
Well, we're going to tell you, first of all, you're qualified because you've already went through the experience. The experience that you went through was not necessarily for you. The experience you went through is for someone that you're going to come across in life. When it comes to certain experiences and breaking those limited beliefs, I want you to stop for a minute and take some time to think about what it is you feel that you need or that you desire to get to that next step. What is it that you were wishing that someone did for you, and then become that thing for that next person? Just because Big Mama didn't do it, or Big Daddy didn't do it, or cousin didn't do it, don't mean you cannot be that generational curse breaker. You cannot be that chain breaker of the family, because you can. You want to do something different in your life, you want to show up differently for those coming behind you, be that chain breaker. It is not going to be easy, but it is definitely going to be worth it. Make sure you connect first and foremost with a core group of people that you can lean and support on with no judgment. It's not going to be 10 or 20 people, it may be 3 to 5 people, right? Get your village and get your circle that you can bounce ideas off of. The ones that know what you're in reference to. They may not even be on the same level as you. They should be either somewhere you're trying to get to, or they have the desire to grow like you are. Because if you're all on the same page and they're holding you down, that's not going to get you anywhere. But I believe in you, and I know that you have what it takes to break those chains of limitations, because it's already there and you have the experience to make that change.
Thank you so much. Yes, we believe in you. You who's listening to us
Hmm.
right now, you have what it takes to make that change. Thank you so much for those words of inspiration. And
You are.
ladies and gentlemen, they say whatever has a beginning will surely have an end. And it's
Hmm.
about that time where we would allow our guests go for today. And I know, we will be inviting her in the future. And Consuela, I hope when I invite you in the future, you will be willing to come back to
Oh, absolutely.
inspire our audience.
Absolutely. I sure will. Thank you, Dr. John. Thank you, Morale Booster, for
You're
having
very
me. And I
welcome.
look forward to hearing greatness from everybody.
You're very welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, please go get a copy of her book. It's
Yes.
titled No More Limits. So go
No
on her
more limits.
website.
That's it.
Yes, go on her website, which is currently just right in front of you. You have the website with you. Go there right now and
Mm-hmm.
get a copy. It's www.consuelanicole.com. All right, get a
Absolutely.
copy. It's also on Amazon and follow her on social media. She is
Yes.
on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. All the information about Consuela is right there with you. No excuse. She can work with you to help you rise above
Mm.
limiting beliefs. So, thank you, everybody, for listening. And before we go, I just want to remind you that we are excited to share some amazing ways for you to stay connected with our mission and continue to grow together. And some of the ways you can get involved are you can support our mission and help us continue uplifting lives by making a donation. We are a 501c3 organization. Your
Mhm.
generosity would allow us to keep spreading hope and positivity. To donate today, to make a donation today, visit www.johnugulu.com, www.johnughulu.com. And secondly, if you're looking for some inspiration, you can check out our collection of inspirational books that are designed to motivate and encourage you on your journey. You can get those books on our website as well. And also, you can tune in to our latest episodes where we share powerful messages of hope, resilience, and personal growth. You can listen now and let the words lift your spirit. This
Mm.
podcast can be um, downloaded. You can download them on our website as well, johnugulu.com. And lastly, you can also become a part of our growing community where we uplift and inspire one another every day. So you can subscribe with $10 a month. It's a subscription based community, $10 a month. Subscribe today and receive exclusive content, daily motivation, and access to special events. When we say special events, we're talking about special coaching events and mentoring
Yes.
events. You can also subscribe through our website, johnugulu.com. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Together, we can continue to make a lasting impact and spread positivity in all we do. I really don't know who's listening to us right now. I don't know where you're listening to us from. I don't know what you know about yourself. Neither do I know what the people around you know about you. But here is one thing that I, John, know about you who's listening to us right now. I know you have greatness within you. I know you are
Mhm.
capable. You have everything you need to become a better version of yourself. And remember, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Stay
Absolutely.
blessed, everybody. And thank you once again, Consuela. And I hope to talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Have a good day.
All
Goodbye.
right. Bye, everybody.